Hello everyone, Rachel Mikulov here from Empire Tax Professionals, and today we speak to so many clients consistently who don't understand what tax planning strategy really is. As many of you will be coming on, as you know, I'm licensed by the IRS. I'm a licensed enrolled agent, and I'm also licensed in 50 states. So if you're listening in from a different state, let me know what state you're in. And I can definitely help you, whether you're in Florida, California, Texas, or any other state. We have a lot of clients in multiple states, and I'm licensed, again, by the IRS and in 50 states. So today I want to talk to you about what tax planning strategy is. And we work with, so many business owners. We work with e-commerce sellers, digital marketers, real estate agents, doctors, medical professionals, a lot of people in so many industries. And a lot of business owners don't understand what I really mean when I mention tax planning strategy. They think that their general accountant is really helping them with tax planning, and they're really not. So this year, as many of you know, we've been helping so many business owners with the EIDL and PPP. And before we even help business owners with the EIDL and PPP, we need to review their tax trends, right? We need to make sure that they qualify. We want to make sure that they're able to get the free PPP loan, which can be 100% forgivable. And when we saw the returns that the accountants were preparing, it was just frightening and scary to see the amount of mistakes that we've been seeing, and how many things, like the accountants were basically helping the clients pay more money in taxes. So we had a client that came to us recently who was making $400,000, a regular business owner I think he's like 50, 60 years old. And it was just crazy. So I started asking him specific questions. We were diagnosing him. That's what we say, diagnostic, because we act like doctors in a way in the accounting field, where we ask specific questions to make sure that we are able to help our clients in every single way, right? So I asked him, what entity are you? Do you have payroll? Do you have sales tax, etc.? Like a list of questions that we have to make sure that we're helping the client save the most money in taxes, reduce the risks of any audits, and make sure that they're able to get any COVID relief funding options that they qualify for. So when I asked him, I said, his entity was incorrect. He was overpaying in taxes, $20K a year, just because his entity was incorrect. He was a single member LLC, and he was supposed to be an S Corp all this time. He never deducted his office rent because he thought it was a red flag. Are you kidding me? I mean, office rent is 100% deductible, and you should 100% deduct it, especially if you use it for your business. He never deducted his home office expenses. He used to work from home consistently, and he would never deduct that. He never deducted his car expenses, and he would travel for work all the time, and he would, keep track of his mileage. He was like an old guy that would keep track of all of his expenses and deductions. But his accountant said, no, I don't think you should deduct that because it's a red flag. You're making $400,000. You should be deducting your expenses so you can reduce your taxable liability legally. And if your accountant tells you that's a red flag, I'm sorry. The law is clear. And if it allows you to deduct expenses because it's allowed, then you should definitely deduct it. His accountant never advised him again to be an S Corp. His accountant never advised him to hire his children, which is huge, okay? He had 2 older kids, never advised him. Well, technically he got older, and as you get older, hiring your children has to be very specific, and they have to be a certain age. So you got to be really careful with that, and you want to make sure that you have proper accountants and advisors helping you with that. But his accountant never advised him that he could hire his kids to lower his taxable liability. They never advised him that he's able to rent his home to his business so he can write it off as rent legally. It's called the Augusta strategy, and a lot of accountants are not familiar with that. And especially the local accountants. I mean, if you ask any local accountant, and I'm sure they follow me and they listen to everything I say because I just know. And, you ask them, have you heard of the Augusta strategy? They'll look at you like a blink in the face because they don't know these high level specific strategies that we use for business owners so they could reduce their taxable liability. They act as historians, right? You go to an accountant and they say, yeah, I made $100,000. These are my expenses. And then they'll tell you how much you owe and what you need to do And that's it. That is the relationship of the accountant. It's an annual relationship, and it's nothing. You end up overpaying in taxes every single year. Plus, you have no guidance, on a monthly basis. So they never advised him that he should be paying his estimated tax payments quarterly. Nothing. Never advised him. When you're making at least like $1,000, when you have a balance owed of at least $1,000 annually, you are required to pay estimated taxes every single 3 months. And it's better for you to make that payment every 3 months because you don't want to have a large tax bill at the end of the year. I had an Amazon seller last year making $1.2 million. And I'll never forget how he told me how he loved his CPA, he loved his bookkeeper. They're perfect, they love each other, they have the best relationship. And all of a sudden he got hit with a $100,000 tax bill 3 days before the tax deadline. And I said, oh my God, that's not, what's the point of having a bookkeeper and an accountant if they're not going to tell you exactly how much you owe every single quarter? An accountant can't act like a historian. They need to make sure that they're giving you prompt advice that is relevant to today and not last year. So he's like, I'm done. I'm switching accountants. I can't believe I have a $100,000 or $150,000 tax bill 3 days before the tax deadline. He had a bookkeeper all year round and he had a CPA all year round. That is totally unacceptable, 100% unacceptable. So now he became a client and we pay his taxes every single quarter based on his actual bookkeeping amount. So I don't know if a lot of you know, the estimated tax payment deadline is due today and you're supposed to make your payments. So a lot of people would say, okay, let me see how much I made last year, and that's the safe harbor rule. So last year, if you made about $10,000, then it would be okay for you to make a payment of $2,500 per quarter, depending on how much money you're making, and there are rules to that. But, normally, we have clients that are growing so fast. We have a lot of coaches, a lot of Amazon sellers that are doubling their business every single year. So if your taxable liability was $10,000 last year and your taxable liability is $20K this year and you only made a $10K payment last year because you're going based on last year's numbers, then you're going to have an unexpected tax bill again this year. And a lot of business owners, they don't want that. They hate it. They don't want it. They want to make sure that they're compliant with their taxes consistently. And I speak to a lot of business owners that have a lot of anxiety because their taxes are not paid. They're not filing everything correctly. So with this specific client, again, they never advised him that he's supposed to make estimated tax payments. And not only that, the worst part is we were able to help him get a $20,000 PPP loan, which is going to be 100% forgivable. And his accountant never mentioned that. They never told him, hey, Mike, for example, obviously I can't mention the name, but they never said, hey, Mike, did you know that you're able to get $20,000 free, forgivable money? And he had no idea. We were the one that asked him specific questions so we can, diagnose him and say, you didn't deduct your office rent, you didn't deduct your car expenses, you didn't deduct all of these things. Plus, did you know that you're eligible to get $20K of PPP money? And he was just shocked. And can you imagine me speaking to a 50-year-old and I said, hey, it was just such a crazy conversation. And I'm like, do you want to be converted to an S Corp now? Because you're a single member LLC and it really depends on how much money you're going to be making in the future. If you're about to close your business, obviously it doesn't make any sense for you to, be an S Corp, right? You don't want to open it and then close it and dissolve it. It just takes a lot of paperwork, especially with New York State. So I asked him and I said, do you want to be, how long do you think you're going to be working? And this is a man that has been paying at least $20K in taxes every single year for the past, I would say minimum 10 years, but it's really 20 years. So think how much that is, $400,000. And he looks at me in the eyes and he says, Rachel, I'll be working. He still rents his home. He doesn't own his home, which is, that could have been a down payment for his house, right? If he had proper tax planning, that could have been down payment for his house. He could have his wife was sitting next to him and it was just such an embarrassing question. And he looked at me and he said, Rachel, I'll be working. And I said, okay, then you make enough and you need to be converted to an S Corp, We need to set you up on payroll. We need to make sure that you're set up to have an accountable plan so you can deduct specific expenses. Let's just, help you at least for the next 10 years or however many years you're going to be working. At least, let us help you save $20K a year in taxes moving forward. And I remember this was actually 2 weeks ago, and we helped him for, I'm talking about multiple clients, but he just put his head down and he's like, Rachel, you've helped me this year more than his accountant has helped him in 20, 30 years. And it was just so emotional to hear that from, I don't remember his age, but he's 50, 60. It was so emotional to hear that from someone. And I'm consistently telling a lot of business owners who are young professionals who really need to have proper accountants and not trust local accountants who only know how to compute your income and expenses from the prior year, but you really need someone educated and that understands what high-level tax planning strategy is, so they can help you save money on taxes moving forward in the year. So a lot of clients, they come to us and let's say March 15th was the corporate tax deadline. And a lot of people say, yeah, I made $1 million last year. My expenses were, $700,000, blah, blah, blah. My profit is this. Okay. And they say, can you help me save money on taxes? And I say, no, the year is gone. I can't help you save money because the year is gone. I can't go back and hire your kids. I can't go back and rent your home. I can't go back and convert you to an S corp if you're a sole proprietor. There are things that must be done in the year, and it has to be done throughout the year, especially making estimated tax payments. So you can't go back, you can't go to an accountant a year later and pray for them to help you fix your mistakes. It's crucial so you can have an accountant to help you every single month, and they can do your, help you with your bookkeeping, your payroll, and make sure that your entity structure is correct, and hire your children and everything that you need so you can pay the least amount of taxes legally. And a lot of our clients obviously understand the importance of it because they've been burned so many times by prior year accountants. But you want to make sure, business owners out there, you think that you're covered, but you really don't know. If you're making, $500,000, $600,000, and you don't have a monthly accountant, and you have a, in-office bookkeeper, you have a payroll service provider, and a year-end accountant who doesn't really give a shit. They don't care because they're just acting like historians, data entry people, preparing your returns, telling you where you need to, pay your taxes, and you're done. You need someone to help you with guiding you throughout the entire year. And that's what you're looking for. Tax planning is what you need. So it's getting dark here, and I want to make sure that I end with this. So before you hire an accountant, you want to make sure that the person can help you with tax planning specifically. And you want to have it documented in writing, and you want to make sure that that person can help you with your bookkeeping related questions. Because honestly, if your accountant is not doing your bookkeeping, then you for sure are overpaying in taxes, because bookkeeping is really the source of why business owners overpay in taxes. Because when a VA doesn't deduct, for example, ATM withdrawals, right? You don't know if it's deductible or not. They're not going to ask you specific questions. They're not going to double check to make sure every single credit card and bank account is properly reconciled. And if the books are a mess and if the books are inaccurate, then 100% the tax returns will be inaccurate. And if there are credit cards and expenses missing, then most likely you're overpaying in taxes because you're not deducting everything you can legally possible. So bookkeeping is really the source of why, many people overpay in taxes. And then you want to make sure with sales tax, are they helping you with sales tax? I had a client where they were in a different state. I remember what it was, I think Ohio or Michigan or something. And their accountant was not helping them with sales tax. So all of a sudden, a sales tax auditor, came to their business and said, hey, you have 8 returns that need to be filed. And he's like, what? I thought my accountant was helping me, take care of it. And they were not helping them take care of it until a sales tax auditor was just surprised them. So you want to make sure that you have an accountant that's helping you with everything you need. So bookkeeping, payroll, sales tax, corporate returns, individual returns, IRS notices, state notices, payment plans, tax planning, questions, guidance. If you want to buy a building, if you want to buy, a car, the difference between leasing a car and buying a car, and so much more. And then also helping you with COVID relief options, such as the SBA loan, the SBA increase loan, right? Because now there's an increase from $150K to $500,000. Then there's the PPP one loan. Then there's the PPP 2 loan. And then there's forgiving the forgiveness option, where you need to fill out the forgiveness application and make sure that it gets processed with the lender. So the loans, the one and the second, the PPP 1 and the PPP 2, will be 100% forgivable. If you don't have one person and one department helping you with everything, then there is somewhere where you're overpaying in taxes or fees, or you're just like wasting a lot of time and energy speaking to multiple people, and you don't want that. As a business owner, as entrepreneurs, you want to give as much as you can to one department so they can handle it all, including, because I travel so much, right? We file a power of attorney for the client with the IRS and state. And any IRS and state notices they get, we get a copy of it. So let's say a client could be traveling 3 weeks to Puerto Rico. They may not get an IRS notice, but we will get it. We will get it, and we will call the IRS on their behalf, and we'll say, hey, David, for example, you got an IRS notice and you need to make a payment of $18 or whatever it is. By the way, we're taking care of it for you. Enjoy Puerto Rico. That's like a dream. As opposed to you coming home and you seeing all these IRS notices and all these levies and threats from the IRS. Nobody wants that. People really want peace of mind. People really want to make sure that their accountant is helping them with every single area and helping them with everything. So let me know if you guys have any questions. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, let me know what they are. Again, I'm licensed by the IRS. I'm licensed in 50 states, and I can 100% help you with everything from bookkeeping to payroll to entity selection to payment plans to IRS audits and tax planning, which is the one thing that everybody really wants. Nobody wants to overpay in taxes, and everybody really wants to do everything legal and compliant and state compliant, and make sure that everything is filed correctly and at timely as well. So we're here for you. If you have any questions, let us know what they are. Thank you so much, guys, and have a beautiful day. Bye.